What has been buzzing so far in 2024? They have the best model. Everybody knows about OpenAI. They have the best model probably the world has seen, and they have literally single handedly democratized large language models and generative AI. However, that's 2023. What has been buzzing so far in 2024 and will continue to swarm us are agents. Is our both. You can have a single agent, you can have multiple agents. And I've been talking about agents for a while now. If you watch my previous video, I've talked about libraries, top libraries, built an agent live using something like Autogen. And what I'm doing now today in this video is talk about a library called Swarm, which is from OpenAI fundamentally. So this is from literally the guys at OpenAI. This was updated last month, but was, made a lot of buzz because OpenAI has tried to get into this space, or not, because they are talking about it as an experimentation or, educational. So this video, or rather the next two videos, which is like a two-part video, is going to focus on building AI agents with Swarm, because we have looked at Autogen and we have understood how Autogen works. This is more of a SDK kind of stuff. So Autogen gives you more visual stuff, Crew.ai gives you more visual stuff. This is like kind of by code. So I'm going to walk through the code, basically documentation, talk about what each of these stuff are, and then in the next video kind of use them to create an agent. This will require an OpenAI API key. However, if you don't have it, I think this video should still be good. And in the next video, you can get inspired by how things are working. If you really want to see agents in action, see my previous Autogen videos. All right, so it's called Swarm, completely Pythonic. Oops, completely Pythonic, 100%. Came out, I think last month it was updated. Haven't seen a lot of updates in there, maybe because this is probably one person working at OpenAI, and things keep changing at the company as well because people keep leaving. So Swarm is experimental and educational. So what they've maybe made this to just talk about multi-agent systems, and let's go and understand what multi-agent systems mean. What are agents really? They are digital entities or systems that can help you plan and execute a task. For instance, if you want to book a hotel, or based on a certain weather which requires you to understand the weather of the place, look at maybe tourist attractions, find the place central to, like a hotel central to it, look at the prices, make the booking, all of that, bunch of API calls. And also planning, an agent can help you do that. This is further from the conversation of GPTs, because there we were talking with AI. Now we are using AI to do things, and this idea is very powerful. I think in 2025 we'll see this exploding as well. Multi-agents really means that it's not just a single agent at play. You can have multiple agents, and there's a lot of interaction possible. I've done videos about this topic as well, like how multi-agentic applications can work. Please look at them. I'll put a link somewhere in the description or up top. So the primary goal for this library for Swarm is to show the handoff and routine patterns explode in this documentation, which is from cookbooks. So they have like how handoffs and routines are captured, and they are trying to just show this idea that between two agents how things are working. Never mind, we'll walk through the step. You need to install Python, very straightforward, just go and get started. This is a basic uses. You start with Swarm, import Swarm and an agent. You create a client. You define transfer operations. So transfer to agent B is essentially you have an agent A and then it's returning agent B. What is agent A doing? It's like, you're doing something else. Like, I don't know, probably the best example I can think of is we used to have something like call by reference in C++, and this is loosely that. So there's an agent A, there's an agent B. Agent A in this case is just saying you're a helpful agent, and all it does is transfer to agent B. And agent B is really only speaks in haikus. And basically what you're gonna get is a response which is in haikus. So when you create the client run and instantiate agent A and pass it a message which is role user content, and I want to talk to agent B, all it's going to do is pass on the transfer to agent B. So there's a handoff happening here, right? And if you see the print statement, it just gives you a beautiful haiku, which is hope glimmers brightly, new paths converge gracefully, and what can I assist? This is a Japanese poem. Haiku is a Japanese poem. Some people like it, some people get confused by it. I get confused by it. Table of contents, overview, just what I talked. So, agents and handoff. Essentially, an agent encapsulates two things: instructions and tools. Instruction become what it is supposed to do. Tools becomes, capabilities, skills that an agent can have. And at any point, there can be a handoff happening. Now, note that handoff is not just a one directional flow. You can have a piece of work done by agent A, then done by B, and then after that, the call passes back to agent A, and they can keep ping ponging between themselves. This can lead to problems and is not recommended. However, it's just something that's possible. And why are agents powerful? I think this line captures it beautifully, that these primitives are powerful enough to express rich dynamics between tools and network of agent, allowing you to build a scalable real world solution without a lot of learning curve. I think learning curve still exists. I kind of disagree to that. It's still early days for all of this, but the idea is really, really powerful. Why Swarm, I think, is just experimental and all. So they have a bunch of examples. They have a simple example. They have a triage agent. They have a weather agent. Weather agent could be weather, airline agent, and support bot, and etc. So I'll probably just open a airline agent and see how things can be, maybe even personal shopper if there's a documentation. So triage agent and weather agent, what are they doing? What is the weather in New York? Triage agent calls the weather assistant. It's 67 degrees. Transfer the calls, etc. How do you run it? I think we just saw some methods in the documentation. So you have client.run, which is basically, chat completions.create is what this is saying. And chat completions.create is standard OpenAI stuff. Let me see if the personal shopper or a airline has a diagram. None of these have a diagram, so I'm not gonna go and show them. But there are multiple agents in the airline customer service. Maybe I'll come back to it. Close this, go here. Okay, make this thoda aur bada. So client.run is one function which we saw here. Yeah, here. And that's the first thing, which basically just starts and gives a return message. There are a lot of arguments that it can take. It can have an agent, it can have a message, context variable, maximum turns. Turns is the conversation which I was saying. Model override. Sometime you can have a, I don't know, chat GPT being used, but for a certain part of the conversation you want to override it and say that I want to use haiku from Anthropic or something else, right? So that can be done. Why would you want to do that? There can be multiple scenarios where certain models are more better suited. Better is not always equal to powerful, and powerful is very difficult to explain as well. Like better could be just faster. Like I really want fast responses. Alternatively, could be there can be a custom model which is tuned to call APIs like Gorilla or something. So bunch of things are possible. Execute tools, which is basically, if there's a certain tool that it has available, you can do that. And then once client.run is finished, you should get a message. Then the agent construct itself, it basically encapsulates the whole idea of an instruction and the function. Function here is very similar to the idea of tools, which we have seen in previous agentic frameworks. And what that is essentially, let's say that I want the agent to have the ability to call an API or read a PDF or go to a website. All of these are tools slash functions for an agent. That's what it is captured. So what are the fields that an agent can have? Name, model, instruction, functions, tool choice. And this is just functions can be a long list. Instructions are basically just prompts, like a system prompt that the agent kind of receives, like what's the code job it has, kind of that thing. Then functions, basically Swarm agents can call Python functions directly, so which is great. If you think about this whole library, it's very lightweight and gives you the ability to call any Python function, which makes it like crazy powerful. And functions will return a string which will be attempted to cast as a string, just inner workings. And basically there's a function outside of all of this, like greet. You call an agent, functions is equal to greet, and it's going to search for the agent. Sorry, the agent is going to search for the function. And then when you do client.run, you instantiate the agent, you pass in the message, and it will say, hello, John. And that's pretty much the core part of it. And then you have handoffs and updating context variables. What does this really mean? When you're talking to somebody, right, there's a state happening. Like, you're not talking just for the sake of having a conversation like human beings. You're probably capturing some sort of a context, right? Certain sort of context variable. So let's say it's a place where the result is stored. So you have some information that the first agent passes, then second agent comes in, and third agent comes in the whole conversation. And then the final context is kind of the final context is kind of built. So it's like the end result that we can think about. That's basically this. And then there are like function schemas, which is like docstring, different sort of parameters available. And I think this is it. Yeah, you have a streaming option as well, which is crazy. Evaluations are also suited. I don't know what degree of evaluations would be suited. If you want to know about LLM evaluations, I can do a different video about it. All right, so this is pretty much it. Run demo, etc., etc. This is pretty much it. Like, it really straightforward library, pretty simple to use, and super excited to try it as well. MIT licensed. Go ahead and try it out. I'm gonna build an agent using this. So if you're interested in some specific agent, I've not coded it out till today. So please put in the comments. If you have loved my content, hit that subscribe button, please. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.